Well, Arise Director of News and Political Editor Sumner Sambo joins me now in the studio for more. Good to see you, Sumner. Just tell us more about the concerns of this Peace Committee.
Well, the concerns of the Peace Committee have to do with previous election cycles where we see emphasis being on slandering people and disinformation rather than the issues that affect the people. And of course, the current president himself was a victim of such an issue sometime in 2015 when he was campaigning for his first term, where a national newspaper had to take an advertorial that actually that made him look terribly bad in the eyes of people, and it was sponsored by a sitting governor then. And I mean, even among journalists, a lot of us were very concerned about that. I mean, a national publication could actually go to town with such an advert, but I mean, the national publication actually said, I mean, it was an advertorial and it wasn't from them, but we as journalists expected some sort of discretion from the media house. And as we go into this election too, the same person who was a victim of that advertorial, President Muhammadu Buhari, is asking especially the spokespersons of the campaign organizations to focus on the issues rather than what actually divides Nigerians. And I think it's good that the chairman of the Peace Committee himself is re-echoing that. But Charles, the major problem lies in the inability of the various presidential campaign councils to manage their communication very well. Like, for example, if you look at that the video coming out from National Peace Committee signing ceremony, you discover that the presidential candidate of the governing APC is not there, and there's no information provided to Nigerians on the whereabouts of Bola Tinubu, who's the APC presidential candidate. Now, when Nigerians are not provided information, of course, they will have to fill in the gaps. So why is the APC not telling us where the candidate is, that he wouldn't appear at this crucial election? And you could hear one of the presidential candidates of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, asking why the vice presidential candidate, Kashim Shettima, had to stand in for him. And so, in the absence of information, something has to just be filled up.
Well, that's a very important point. And up to this point in this, I mean, they've just started the campaign season. How fractious have things been politically? Because there's also concern about the possibility of violence, isn't there?
Yeah, the concerns have always been there, especially on the terms of the type of rhetoric that we see coming. I mean, pre-campaign season, we're already seeing someone, I mean, like, for example, the APC presidential campaign spokesperson, Festus Keyamo, who's also a serving minister in the government. And, you know, some sort of things that he puts out there in the media will make you wonder, I mean, the same President Buhari who is asking all campaign spokespersons to be civil towards others, the APC itself is almost looking like it's guilty of it. Because if the spokesperson who happens to be a minister of state, a junior minister in the government, is unable to couch his message in such a way that it doesn't cause online division, then that means there's a big fight ahead. And if care is not taken with the sort of rhetoric that's coming, because it's a succession presidency where you don't have an incumbent contesting, then it may just...
It's a free-for-all.
Yeah, it will just be a free-for-all. And if care is not taken, the fragile security situation of the country will be amplified. And of course, the threat will be to the election itself. And of course, there are already talks here and there if the election can take place where there's a possible violence that breaks out across the country. And the potentials of the violence beginning from social media keeps presenting itself every day to us.
Well, we're going to have to be watching that very closely. Sumner, thank you very much indeed.